The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
Those words have been etched into my brain for over 2 decades now, and just hearing them instantly fills me with nostalgia. Today I want to gush about my favorite game of all time, and I've got a lot I want to say, so buckle up, we're going into space. My first ever console was the Nintendo Entertainment System, like this one, except bigger. It was a big Nintendo. I would watch my dad play games for hours until I was finally ready to take the controller for myself. The first game I ever played on the system was simply called Metroid. At some point in your life, you may have wondered, what is a Metroid? A lot of people sometimes think that the protagonist of the series, Samus Aran, is Metroid. In fact, it sparked the most adorable meme back in 2013 on the Miiverse. Why can't Metroid crawl? At least I say it's adorable. It very well could have been a grown adult man who wrote that, which becomes a lot less endearing. But either way, why can't Metroid crawl? Let me quickly fill you in on what exactly a Metroid is. They're basically these space jellyfish parasite monsters that have the ability to absorb energy from anything it latches onto. They could be used to aid mankind or destroy it depending on who has control over the Metroids. And that's exactly what the first game explores. To very briefly summarize Metroid on the NES, you play as cosmic badass Samus Aran, a bounty hunter who blasts space pirates in their dumb faces to stop them from harnessing the powers of these life-absorbing creatures, the Metroids. For 5-year-old PJ back in the day, this game was super challenging. Even now I find it pretty difficult to not die a lot. But after months and months of determination, I did it. Feels good, man. Feels really good. But it left me craving more. My second experience of the franchise was on the Game Boy when I played Metroid 2: Return of Samus. Once again, you take control of Samus Aran to do what she does best, blasting junk in the face. Except this time, your mission is to hunt down and destroy the Metroids, the very thing you were trying to stop being used as weapons in the first game. However, at the end of the game, a baby Metroid imprints on Samus and thinks you're the mother. How adorable is that? Actually, not that adorable. They are terrifying. And that all nicely sets up for Nintendo's third installment in the franchise, my favorite game, Metroid 3, Super Metroid. So, Metroid 3 on the Super Nintendo. Why this game? Why out of all the Marios and the Zeldas and everything else that I've played during my lifetime, why is this the one that has stuck with me the most? I just want to dive in and share all the things that I love so much about this game, starting with story. So the story is minimal, but it's just enough to get you going, just enough to fill your boots with porridge. I don't know what that means. The game opens telling you how Samus heroically rescued the baby Metroid, delivering it to these scientist space dudes, good stuff. But suddenly there's a distress signal coming from the lab, and Samus is like, seriously? Come on, I just left. Are you sure you need a badass bounty hunter to take care of this? So you return to the space station and it turns out, yeah, they did. They're all dead. They're dead. I shouldn't laugh, but they're dead. So you start to piece the story together yourself. Well, what happened here? The Metroid from the title screen is escaped. Did the Metroid kill these scientists? Is it gonna kill me? I don't know if I want to stick around here to find out. So you venture further through the lab and you find the Metroid. Except it hasn't escaped. Is just chilling, and then, oh god, Space Dragon Ridley comes and attacks you and then sets a bomb to explode. Hey, you gotta get the hell off the planet, out of there. So in classic Metroid fashion, you escape before the space station blows up. Then it does blow up. Jeez, I hope there was no more scientists on that space station. And then you're immediately dropped off on this desolate planet called Zebus. Zebes? Zebus? Zebes? I don't know. You wander around looking for signs of life, but there's nothing. You're completely alone, and then you start to get this chill when you realize, hang on, I think I've been here before. This is the exact spot where you defeated Mother Brain in the first game. It doesn't matter though, because you wiped out all the space pirates in the first game, right? So you continue, and then you find this mysterious glowing orb. It's a power-up. It's the Morph Ball. Hell yeah, man. But that triggers a little security camera. Oh yeah, you're being watched, boy. Suddenly, every space pirate and their mother, Brain, knows that Samus Aran has returned. The planet is now littered with space monsters that all want you dead. Not cool. So you adventure a little deeper and you find this Chozo statue that's like, yo Samus, I got you back, here, have some missiles. And you're like, cool, thanks. And then you find another and you're like, cool, thanks. And then you find another and you're like, oh cool, bombs, thanks. Wait, what? This statue's trying to kill me. But the other statues didn't try to kill me, why is this one trying to kill me? Didn't expect that, did you? It's just a little reminder that not everything on this planet is gonna be what it seems. All of this in the first 10 minutes of the game, are you kidding me? Let's just quickly recap. You've been attacked by a galactic dragon who stole the creature that thinks you're the mother. You escaped an exploding space lab and blasted directly to a planet where everything wants to kill you. Statues are kind of friendly, except not all of them are friendly. I thought I was just gonna be shooting stuff in the face. I wasn't expecting a roller coaster of a game. The first 10 minutes should give you a great idea of what the atmosphere of the whole game is gonna kind of feel like. You're going to feel very alone on this alien planet, often outmatched and not knowing what's coming next. It's almost as if the game designers wanted you to feel how Samus Aran might be feeling. Isn't that cool? I mean, for 1994 with limited resources, yes, that's pretty cool. Speaking of Samus, let's just talk about one of the coolest characters in all of video games for just a moment. Maybe at the start of the game you feel somewhat powerless, but you very quickly start to fill your arsenal with missiles, super missiles, bombs, power bombs, grappling beams, phasers, wave beams, this thing. And before you know it, the space pirates are afraid of you. Well, I mean, they're not because they weren't programmed that way, but how cool would that be? As Samus progresses through the game and gets stronger, the enemies become afraid of you and try to avoid you. That would be pretty badass. Also, it's probably worth mentioning underneath her power suit is 198 pounds of 6'3" pure badass. To put that into perspective, I'm roughly 180 pounds, 6'2". So Samus is essentially a super ripped Amazonian space adventurer. Oh my god. If they ever make a live action Metroid film, my vote is for Gwendolyn Christie to play Samus. One last thing about her character, if you want an added little spice of backstory, her parents were killed by Ridley, that space dragon that attacked you at the beginning of Super Metroid. So there's even a bit of a revenge story going on there. Samus has got it all. The look and feel of this game took everything that was great about Metroid on the NES and built upon that so well for the Super Nintendo. Samus can shoot in all directions, swing around like Indiana Jones, obliterating rocks and enemies using the speed booster feels oh so good. The overworld map is very simple, but actually very helpful. Even Samus's floaty kind of movement works really well for all the platforming you have to do. So it's presented beautifully, and when I say presentation, I'm not just talking about the graphics, but also how the game arrived when I first bought it. Unfortunately, it wasn't hand-delivered by a Metroid, so it was the next best thing. I remember the game came in this huge box, much bigger than your standard SNES game box. It's because it came with this gigantic player's guide. Mine may be pretty battered and destroyed and missing a few pages, but this is like one of my most treasured things from my childhood. I remember I would just take it to school and look at all the amazing art and read about the game. See, this was way before the internet, so the game developers had your back just in case you got lost, and KickThePj definitely got lost. A lot. What I think is really interesting about this is it's not a walkthrough. Although yes, it does tell you where all the secrets and power-ups are, and there are a lot in the game, the guide isn't actually in the order you can obtain them. Basically, the world is massive and interconnected, so you have to do a lot of backtracking once you get new abilities to acquire abilities that you couldn't get earlier. Does that make sense? It's just yet another thing I love about this game, and apparently a lot of game designers love it too. They love it so much that the name Metroidvania is now used to describe a genre of game that is inspired by Super Metroid and Castlevania. My most vivid memory of playing this game was definitely adventuring alongside my dad. I loved playing games with my dad because every time we got stuck, he always knew how to get us out of it. So eventually we got to a very specific part called Brinstar, where we fell down this pit and couldn't get out. I turned to my dad and he literally had no idea what to do. We tried everything and just couldn't get out. So I checked the player's guide and it told us we needed to do the wall jump. And we figured, well, we haven't actually got this ability yet, so we're stuck. So naturally, we started the game over again and eventually fell into the pit again. We were so stuck that we just gave up. It was the first game we ever just gave up on. I accepted I will never see the ending to this game until several years later. I came back to it determined to finish it. I started a new game, I loaded myself up on missiles and super bombs, and so when I got to that very specific part of Brinstar, I fell into the pit again. But this time, I wasn't gonna give up. I studied everything that the game was giving me very closely, and I thought, well, these weird green creatures are doing the wall jump, and at first I thought they were mocking me, but then I realized, no, they're teaching me to jump from wall to wall. So after a lot of experimenting and building up quite a lot of dexterity in my fingers, I figured out how to wall jump. I'd like to say I mastered it, but I definitely didn't, because even to this day, I suck at the wall jump. But I got out of the pit. I blasted through the rest of the game full of adrenaline, and I remember finishing it, and as the credits rolled, my dad walked in. He didn't say anything to me, I didn't say anything to him, but we shared a look of triumph. That's actually kind of weird. I don't know why we didn't say anything. Hey dad, I finished the game. Would have sufficed. This game has left a serious legacy behind. Like I said earlier, it has inspired so many game developers to do what it did so well. Like what, 23 years later? We're referencing all the great things a game did 23 years ago? That just blows my mind. Hollow Knight is a fantastic example of a recent game that did this. A game that has very quickly become one of my new favorites. It's actually a huge topic of discussion these days, what these old games have inspired today. And I have no doubt that they're going to continue to inspire games. But sometimes people often overlook, well, what inspired that to start with? One of my favorite sci-fi films of all time is Alien. I'm going to assume you've seen it because who hasn't seen Alien? And you can just tell that this game feels so inspired by the overall atmosphere of Alien. The whole general creepy atmosphere of the alien planet. They both have badass female protagonists. Ridley's character design really reminds me of H.R. Geiger's design of the Xenomorphs. And hey, speaking of Ridley, director of Alien, Ridley Scott, come on. That has gotta be a reference. I just find it so fascinating that at a time where video games were still kind of finding their feet, they took inspiration from a movie and pumped it into a playable game that wasn't just Alien the movie, the game. It was an entirely new, fresh concept. I just love that so much when all my favorite things are kind of combining together to create something new. I could go on and on about all the things I love about this game. The way the music evolves and feels darker the deeper you venture into the planet. Lower Norfair being my favorite theme in the entire game. Or I could talk about all those moments that really catch you off guard and play with your expectations of what's gonna happen. This was supposed to be a segue into stopping, but I clearly cannot stop. Essentially, I just want you to play the game for yourself and get a real feel for why this game has gone down in history as one of the best, why this game deserves the legacy it has. Ooh. Speaking of legacy, that's actually a very unintended yet genius segue. This whole video was sparked because Nintendo said to me, hey PJ, we want to send you a box of Metroids. And I was like, what? A box of Metroids? Hell yeah! So they did. And I got a box of Metroids, and I'm a very, very happy boy right now. Essentially, this is the legacy edition of the new Metroid game, Samus Returns. And I'm so pumped right now. I haven't actually opened this yet because I wanted to open it on camera. You should know this isn't a spawn. I just feel very passionately about my favorite franchise of all time. Well, let's pop this bad boy open. What's in the box? It's a little screw attack pin. Hell yeah, I'm gonna wear that bad boy. Isn't that kind of poetic? Metroid and Hollow Knight pins next to each other. Well, I didn't notice that till now. The artwork is an enhanced version of the Game Boy artwork. Okay, we have, an art book. Just as I thought. It has art in it. Beautiful art. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. Look at Samus's ship. Oh, nice. This is like best of Metroid soundtrack. Damn, they got some good music on there. Oh, okay, that is adorable. It's a little morph ball keychain. Okay, that is going straight on my car key. So when I'm driving along and I want to turn into a morph ball, oh, no way. It comes with a download code of the original Game Boy game. And finally, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? I'm a very emotional boy right now. This is a metal case of the original Game Boy game. I somehow feel it won't fit. Okay, that was genuinely very, very cool. Thank you so much, Nintendo, for sending that to me. And thank you for birthing the Metroid franchise. That sounded weirder when I said it out loud than it did in my head. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's quite different to the kind of content I usually make, but I just love talking about things that I feel very passionate about. So if you want to see more videos like this, I'll certainly do more little love letters to other things that I feel strongly about. Please do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And hey, let me know what your favorite game is in the comments below. Cool. Stay rad, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. I'm gonna go find out why Metroid can't crawl. Bye.